pause and buy it on a console. As a racing thing.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah, to get to the point very quickly, it's a good game, isn't it, Dave?
It's a very good game, isn't it? Now, you say I've played it. I haven't actually played the PS4 final build. I played the preview code a while ago.
And the PC game.
And I played the PC early access version as well. I'm surprised that you like it as much as you do, Tom.
Yeah, well, I'll run through quickly my experience with it. Started the game. There's a menu of like assists and stuff.
Right.
Got a bit worried about that. Turned a few on.
Yeah.
Most of them on, to be fair.
Yeah.
Had a race. Crashed a lot. Lots of pressing triangle to respawn the car.
When you say a race, what did you do straight away? Did you go into a rally or did you go into a rally cross?
It was a rally.
Right.
Yeah. And initially it is tough. I think it remains tough.
Oh, it's Dark Souls tough.
It's very hard game because if you come to this thinking, oh, I like dirt games, those previous 3 and Showdown, thinking, oh, I like that arcade style.
Who likes Showdown?
Not many people. I like that arcade style driving with like
fireworks.
Feels a bit like you're on the edge, but most of the time you're okay and it's quite forgiving.
Yeah.
This isn't like that.
No.
It's like
you never feel entirely in control.
No.
You feel like you have a grip, like, how do you word it? You feel like you know how the car handles. You feel like any moment it could all just spiral out of control.
Yeah.
And I think that's what sets this apart from other racing games, because Dirt, you did get a handle on how it handled, and it was a relatively very easy game.
Yeah.
You were often guaranteed to come in the top 3 in those sorts of games, whereas this, the fight is on to even sort of get on the leaderboard, let alone get on the top, get on the podium. And
there's a lot of well, you just have to. I mean, what I found is that I had to take things a bit slower than I thought I would do, just to get the hang of the handling and just like how you meant to approach corners and stuff. There's a tutorial of sorts. There's a series of videos, and
that's new for the console versions, right?
They are good in that they tell you the stuff you need to know, but because it's just you watching a video, it doesn't really help you get better. You still have to apply all that stuff. So it's kind of like saying, here's how you fly a plane, and then going, all right, go and do it then. It's not a hands-on tutorial, but it does show you the kind of stuff you need to know about, like shifting the weight and when to brake and all that kind of stuff.
But that stuff isn't hard to understand. If you're a rally newbie, I don't think it's so hardcore that you just shouldn't bother trying with it. I think the stuff is quite easy to pick up and learn. It might take you an hour or so to really understand it. But I don't think it's not like a hardcore flight simulator or something like that where
there's not as much to it as that. No.
And so I think the balance is right. And I think for me, I'm looking forward a lot to playing the final PS4 version. It's one of the most exciting rally games I've played in a very long time. Yeah. And it's weird, I think we've had the same reaction to it, because when I saw Dirt Rally when it was pre-announced, I was expecting a big Dirt 4.
Yeah.
Very arcade and glitzy, whereas this is
opposite of glitzy, for sure.
And I think I came back from that not disappointed. Maybe the word is disappointed, because I was expecting that big showy game, and it wasn't that, and it was a much more reserved, perhaps a little bit more budget game than Dirt 4 would have been.
Yeah.
You kind of get the impression, because I've spoken to them a few times since announced, and you get the impression that it's really a test bed. This whole simulation, they weren't sure whether there would be the market for that kind of game, and maybe that the early access stuff has proved that there is a market for that game. Maybe
at least on PC. I mean, we don't know how it's going to fare on consoles, but
if they were to do another one, Dirt Rally 2, I imagine would have a lot more budget and effort. Effort's the wrong word, but a lot more production value thrown into.
It looks good. I'm not going to say it looks ugly by any means. It runs at 60 frames a second. It's 1080p.
Yeah.
Courses all look pretty nice, but there's a definite sense that it's based on technology that is old.
Yeah, I don't think it's as showy as what a new proper next gen Dirt would be. And I think maybe that's one area where people get a bit hung up on it, that it looks good enough, but it doesn't look crazy good. It doesn't, because Codemasters, their racing games always looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like last gen,
on the 360, it was
Grid
always
2
like
looked great.
Their games always kind of set the bar for racing games that generation. This is like, it does look nice, and the fact that it is so smooth and crisp and really fast as well. I mean, it does a lot for the game, but it definitely doesn't have the wow of a brand new next gen rally game.
And even things like the main menus. You remember like Dirt 2 and Dirt 3, they all had these fancy menu systems, and it's stripped back so much. It doesn't have any of that. It's just a table, really.
Essentially,
isn't it?
you get a choice of there's like a rally championship, which is a series of rally events split up into multiple stages, like you would in a traditional rally game. At the end of each stage, you see where you're on the leaderboard, do some repairs after a couple. There's some team management stuff built in, which you can go into as much depth as you want, really. Lots of it you can let them handle for you, but you can hire new team members and stuff and pay their salaries and that kind of thing.
In terms of the amount of content, is there a lot on the disc? Because when it first came out in early access, there didn't seem to be that much there. What was there was good, but I don't know how much they've expanded on it really.
You've got the Rally Championship, which is 8 rallies, I think.
Okay.
Which is quite a lot of content.
And that's not single events, that's a series of events in a single rally.
There's 8 rallies split up into multiple events.
Okay.
That's quite a lot of content there.
Yeah.
Then there's the Hill Climb, which is 3 events, 3 rallies.
Yeah.
And then there's the Rally Cross, which is 2 events. And then there's another Rally Cross, which I haven't actually played because you have to be really good.
Right. There's a fair amount then.
There's a lot there, and there's also a lot of online stuff built in, so there's kind of challenges set up that you can take part in.
The online stuff's actually surprisingly good. I got quite addicted to that because it's all leaderboard based and like a real rally, really. And I don't know if it's different with the console release. I doubt that it is, right? But you sort of competed in a number of events within that rally in your time. You were rewarded based
I think
on
that is the mode that if you stick with it for a long time, you'll just keep going back to that because you will eventually see everything there is in the main sort of single player stuff and the real challenge.
And it's all asynchronous, right? Is there any like proper competitive?
I don't think there is. I haven't seen any, and I've looked through the menus.
Yeah.
But
because that was part of the appeal for me, because you could come back to an online rally over a series of days if you wanted to, because they all have timers on them, really. And
so like you might go to the more like the online screen, and it's got an event there that runs out in 15 days.
Yeah.
You've got time to just try and log your best time.
It's a bit Drive Club-ish in that sense.
I mean, it's not as slick and like connected as Drive Club is, but it is similar.
When Drive Club was connected, eventually.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, it's a game that initially I thought, oh my god, why am I reviewing this? Because it's not it is very, the opening few minutes are so unforgiving because even though I knew it was not an arcade racer, it's still that feeling that you're doing something that's a bit beyond what you're capable of. But you do get used to it quite quickly. And you adjust, and you can't fling it around the corners like you could in the other DiRT games.
Yeah.
One thing I found is that in most racing games, it makes me sound like a massive noob. I usually drive from the external camera, which is something that
Tom.
a lot of people will frown at.
Tom.
I like seeing the car, and it just looks nicer in my mind. I'm not like massively into like being incredible at these games. But with this game, I have to play with the bumper cam or the bonnet cam because it just makes it easier, like a lot easier.
Yeah.
You can judge the corners a lot better. So I don't know why that is, but that is just it. I think it's partly because of the speed and everything. You just get a better sense of where you are on the track.
Yeah. Now that you've gotten used to the sort of hardcore side of it, would you have preferred a DiRT4, an arcade type rally game, or do you think this is where it should be?
I think as long as I hope DiRT4 exists and will arrive.
So you do want to see another sort of arcade rally?
But I'm not sad that this exists, as long as this doesn't replace a DiRT4.
Do you think they can live side by side?
Yeah, probably. I think, I don't think this is going to have the mass appeal that a full budget showcase DiRT game will have. It just feels lower key. I don't even know how much they're marketing it. Compared to a normal release. It's a very good game. I think if you're kind of thinking whether or not it's for you, if you generally like challenging racing games, and particularly like if you like the thrill of a rally game, this takes that to the next level in terms of being constantly on the edge of like a disaster essentially.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely worth a go. Just to summarize, it's a very good game. It looks nice enough. But it's really in terms of like the feeling of the driving, the thrill of
the key is careering
down the road and doing a hairpin turn and all that kind of stuff. And when you get it right, it does feel very good. It's just that you're constantly on the edge of it going horribly, horribly wrong. And as long as you can live with that, I think you'll have a good time. If you enjoyed this review, please hit the subscribe button and you get told every time we upload a new video review to YouTube.